All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakwakwa, double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to your brothers out there on the highways and byways. There's noise in this word abroad all around the world. And I just want to get into this topic real quick. It's going to be called the sower. Now, us being men of the Lord, you know what I mean? His brothers, going back to the elders before GMS, onto the elders and apostles and the brothers that hear this word on down, First, we have men out there to teach us. We just don't learn this word on our own, There's men that the Most High set up before us, for us to learn under, and that's how we learn and that's how we grow, Once these men of the Lord plant that seed in our hearts, you know what I mean? Then we'll see if that seed is sown into good soil, It's planted in good soil. Now the main reasons why, brothers fall out the truth, like brothers that hear this word and just endure for a while fall out the truth is because that seed wasn't planted correctly in good soil, That seed that those men that taught this word, that was given this word, weren't planted in good soil, So that's why they don't remain in this truth for so long, But I just want to get right into it, This is the book of Matthew, chapter 13, verse 18. I'm going to get right into it. And it says, "Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower." Verse 19, "When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom and understandeth not, then cometh the wicked one and catches away that which was sown in his heart. This is he which received the seed by the wayside," So, you may got a brother, and we see this, you see this many a times, when we're out there on the highways and byways, teaching this word, we're teaching, it may seem like the brother's getting into it and listening, and, he wants to understand this truth, but, for whatever reason, he may have his woman right there, the situation with women, Scripture says of the woman be of wickedness, I just want to use that example. Or, he may be with his homeboys or whatever, and they may pull him away and say, don't listen to this, this is bullshit, and that's how he falls by the wayside, either through his woman or, mainly 9 times out of 10 is through his woman, He may bring his woman up there, and they may be listening together, but his woman pulls him away, and therefore, he falls by the wayside, That's one reason, which means that seed never got grounded in him, or, it wasn't grounded in him, So that's one way, that a man, when he heareth this word, then cometh the wicked one that catches him and pulls him away from hearing it, So, verse 20. But he that receives the seed into stony places, the same is he that heareth the word, and anon with joy receiveth it, So when you're walking by, this is a brother that's walking by, he heareth the word, then, that spirit gravitates to it, Once he heareth the word, his spirit becomes activated, His spiritual mindset becomes activated. Now, he's drawn to it. And he receiveth it, and the word sticks with him, Then throughout the years, he's managed, to apply it. He managed to apply this word to his life. Then that's when that seed starts to grow within him. It just continues to grow and to grow and to grow. That's that brother that receives this word, and he takes heed to what the brothers are saying out there. And throughout the years and throughout the months and throughout the years, that he continues to grow. That's when that seed grows within him. And beareth, fruit. Verse 21. And verse 21, yet he, well, no, still Salakia. This is a brother that heareth the word, it grows, but yet he is not rooted in himself, but endure for a while. For when tribulation or persecution arise because of the word, by and by he is offended, So we see this plenty of times with brothers. I know elders, the apostles of elders, the apostles and elders of GMS, they've seen this many a times. They've been through this many a times. Not just them, but brothers, that were set up under them, This is when a brother comes into the truth, he receiveth it, he receiveth it, with the joy, he receiveth the word, but then, when tribulation comes upon him, that's when he gets offended, So he receiveth the word, he's in the truth, let's say, the time is about. Let's say the time is about, he may be in the truth for about 2 or 3 years, 2 or 3 years, of him being in this truth, nothing happened, Just like the scripture says, when you hear of the word and you eat of the roll, At first it's sweet as honey, like the scripture right here says, Let me just read that again. But he that receiveth the seed into stony places, the same is he that heareth the word, and anon with joy receiveth it, When you first hear this word, you first eat that roll, it's sweet as so like it's sweet like honey in your mouth, it's sweet and it's good. But when you swallow it, when that word goes down to the esophagus into the stomach, that's when that sweetness turns to bitterness, because throughout the years that you've been in this truth, now you're being tested. Now the Most High is testing your spirits, testing your heart, to see if you rather if you're solid gold and silver, or you just wood, hay, and stubble, So it says here, like in verse 21, yet he is not rooted. He is not rooted himself, but endure for a while. For when tribulation and persecution arise because of the word, by and by he's offended, So when that persecution, when that brother gets shaken, through persecution, whether it's he loses his job, he loses his woman, he may lose that car that he, that he likes, or, he may be put out of his apartment, that life that he once had before he came into the truth, Once he starts to experience loss, and the things that he was comfortable with, prior to coming in the truth, by and by he gets offended. So he ends up falling out of the truth and going back into the world and doing the things that he was comfortable with doing, So this is a man, when that seed was planted, but yet that seed wasn't deeply rooted, that seed didn't get deeply rooted or grounded within them, so that seed to for that seed to prosper and to grow, you know. So by and by he's offended, then he ends up falling out of the truth, you know. So Salakia, at first, I didn't explain it properly. I didn't read down further to explain it the correct way, but I just did now. Um, so let me just move on to verse 22. All right, verse 22. He also that receiveth among thorns is he that heareth the word, and the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and it becomes unfruitful. Now, this is somebody, that hears the word. You see this plenty of times, just like, like I'll give experience, when I was in the GMS camp many years ago, with the brothers, Adam and Imar, Elder Adama and Elder Amos, we had this, cat come up to the camp, He was into the word, he was receiving it, and he liked what he heard, and he said good job, and he liked how he was teaching, how he was bringing the word out. But then again, he started to bring up, prospering or making money, living good, raising a family, and all of that. So pretty much when we had told him the raw, cut, real deal and the reality of being in this truth, that's when that's when everything that we had told him went out the window, That's when everything we had told him and all the truth, he bigged us up. He said we was bringing out the word. But when he brought that worldly possessions and things like that of the world, prospering and making money, getting rich or, living a comfortable life, pretty much that choked the word, that choked whatever, that choked the knowledge that we gave him, you know what I mean? And it just became unfruitful, everything that we told him went out the window, So this is a guy, we seen this, plenty, well, not plenty of times, but, we seen this before where people, when they come up, they like what we hear, but then they want to mix, living a better life or prospering, or making money, well, not to say that making money is bad, but like prospering, trying to prosper, and trying to make it in this world, when this world is about to get ready to be destroyed, I'm saying it just don't mix, with the truth. So this truth and the world just don't mix, because at the end of the day, the kingdom of heaven is at hand, even though you still need money or whatever, you need money, to get by, to get by, just, to get by your daily means, because the scripture says, give us this day our daily bread, you still need money to get by or whatever. But when you get caught up, when you wrap your mind too much around it, and you want to prosper or try to make it in this world, that's when, they just don't mix, that's when the two don't, that's when the two don't mix. So, we was teaching that brother, well, we gave him the raw cut real deal of the reality of this truth, that, you're not gonna prosper, for the main part, being in this truth, you're gonna catch hell, you're gonna have to endure some things, you're gonna have to take some L's, you're gonna have to, go through all types of tribulations being in this truth, So it's not always gonna be peaches and cream. It's not gonna be peaches and cream or a walk in the park being in this truth, So that, us telling him that choked the word, choked the word out of him, and then it became unfruitful, So he ended up, not, so that seed, didn't take root, or it didn't take root in him, because of the cares and the affairs of this world, He was too involved in the cares and the affairs of this world, So that's what choked the word out of him, and then that's when it became unfruitful, and it didn't prosper. So I'm moving on to verse 23. But he that receiveth seed into good ground, now this is a brother that comes into the truth, and and that seed is good soil. When that seed is planted within that brother, it becomes fruitful and good soil. So this is what now I could talk about, the prospering and the prospering of the seed. So verse 23, but he that receiveth seed into good ground is he that heareth the word and understandeth it, which also bear fruit, and bringeth forth some an hundredfold, some 60-fold, some 30-fold. So that's when a brother receives this word, and that seed gets planted within that brother's spirit. And that's when that seed begins to prosper and grow. And that seed bear fruit. So he may be out there, by himself or whatever. He teaches for a while, then he begins to teach on his own and bear some fruit. So that's when that seed becomes prosperous and bears fruit. So that's a brother that heareth this word and receiveth it, and continues to teach and understandeth it, and continues to go out and teach, to also bear fruit and to also bring in more fruit. And so that fruit, that seed begins to grow and grow and grow until it's prosperous. It begins to give off branches and offspring, and it starts to bear fruit. That's the prospering of this word. When that brother receives this word and he goes out and he teaches it, and he starts to bring forth for fruit. Some 40, bringing forth some an hundredfold, some 60, and some 30. So that's the prospering of that seed. Once that brother hears that word and that spirit is activated within his spirit, that seed becomes planted in his spirit, not and his spirit and his soul becomes activated. That's when that seed begins to grow, and to bring and grow and to bear fruit. It becomes fruitful and multiplying. So with that, I just wanted to do this lesson real quick about the sower. So I hope brothers were edified by this lesson, and Lord's will, I'll continue with the next lesson. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakwah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to your brothers out there on the highways and byways that's noising this word abroad. And until then, I want to say Shalom.